What do I think of the new MotoGP regulations coming in 2027 that were just announced today? Well, I'm glad you asked. But if you could first hit that subscribe button and help us grow here on YouTube. And fun little fact, I normally respond to basically every single comment. So come join the family. But back to these new MotoGP regulations. What should we expect to see in 2027? The regulations announced today really hover around one central theme, which is smaller and more efficient. We're talking about reduced engine size, reduced aero, reduced fuel capacity, less engines available to each team all season long, and of course 100% renewable fuels. So what we're supposed to see from these changes is closer racing, more overtakes, and less dirty air coming off of the aero packages. Now, Casey Stoner has said making the bike smaller doesn't actually increase overtaking because you're also making the braking area smaller. Shorter braking area means less possibility to actually overtake in the corners. But what do I think of all this? Do I think smaller bikes means more overtaking? No, I think racing will always be racing to a certain degree. The bikes will be less powerful, yes, but they'll also be lighter, so it kind of taking from one column and putting in another. Honestly, I'm most looking forward to all the people who hate aero so much just to shut up for a while because they are making it smaller. Are you happy now? Please be happy. I know you won't be happy, but please, for the love of God, for one season, just be happy. But I think the one thing that people are overlooking is the banning of these ride height devices, especially at the start of the race. We keep saying we want more control back in the rider's hands, less electronic aids, less stuff the motorcycle is doing, and more stuff for the rider to do, to separate the good from the great from the terrible. And let's be honest, there are no terrible riders in MotoGP. You wouldn't be there if you were terrible. But I do think taking some of the technology out of the start of the races to see who really is the best on the throttle at the very beginning, who is the best at controlling those starts, not what technology is the best. But the one thing I love about rule changes and regulation changes is it kind of levels the playing field for all the manufacturers. They're not starting from zero, but they're kind of all starting over. And it gives the opportunity for other manufacturers to come into the sport, to have a fighting chance, to look at MotoGP and say, hey, we could do that. Namely, who are we talking about? BMW. Now, I know a lot of people are hoping that Kawasaki and Suzuki are coming back into the sport. I don't think that's going to happen in the short term, but BMW is a legitimate contender here. And ditching some of the technology, some of the things that make a bike very expensive to build will help entice companies like BMW to come into MotoGP. So for that reason, I think the changes are going to be a net good. Like I say, racing is always going to be racing. Everyone plays by the same rules, and it's about putting those rules into the bike and then putting the bike on the track underneath really talented riders. That game isn't changing. But if you love the new rules, let me know in the comments. And if you hate the new rules with a passion, let me know also, because I would love to argue with you.